Good afternoon, class. So today is 18th of February, and we will have to cover the current affairs of today. The first news is related to the case that was filed up against MJ Akbar. Regarding the case, this case is a different case. We will explain what is this particular case. Now, I hope you remember MJ Akbar was a minister in the Modi government, and he has to resign from the Modi government as a minister because some journalists have put up sexual harassment cases against him at the workplace. Now, the case that MJ Akbar has filed, he has filed a case against another journalist called as Priya Ramani. So there are two other journalists who are involved in this. Now, these journalists have basically accused MJ Akbar that his character is not good, and she have put up the statements on the Twitter against which MJ Akbar filed a case against Priya Ramani. Now, this particular judgment that have come up from the Delhi High Court have two aspects to it, and we will discuss from the point of view of accuser and from the point of view of the accused. So there are two aspects to this particular case. Let us see the first, what is the judgment of the Delhi High Court has been. Now, the Delhi High Court, there is a very good statement that Indian Express has given. You should remember this particular statement. And the Indian Express actually basically quoted the statement that was given by the judge of the Delhi High Court. The judge of the Delhi High Court said that the right to dignity and integrity is superior to the right to reputation. Please understand, this is a type, some judgments and some decisions and some lines currently decides the total fabric of the society. Now, the judgment of the Delhi High Court have recognized that the right to dignity and integrity is superior to right to reputation, and that's why they have said that a woman right to come forward against any person who have sexually abused her or try to make any advances toward her at any point of life does not only amount to the tenure that has been passed, does not only amount to the things that she is coming up front with or she is telling the world about it. The person who has been abused has complete right to file the case against any of the person who have in any type or in any time. This is the judgment of the High Court to file the case. Now, the two aspects to it, Mr. MJ Akbar have filed a case that this person without any evidence has filed a case against her, or she have laid the accusation without any evidence. And Mr. MJ Akbar said that the reputation has been damaged. I am simply seeking any kind of or any form of evidence, substantial evidence that she have. So this case was dismissed by Delhi High Court, although it should not be, because on the basis of the facts, the court are needed to basically take the judgment, but it can be argued on the both sides, because tomorrow there can be such situation. In this particular case, there have been critical evidences in which certain journalists are being accused. Priya Ramani was not, the evidences of harassment of Priya Ramani is not available in the public domain. Neither she have accused, she have told that he has a loose character and nothing more than that. The journalist he have abused is currently filing the case against her and she is still fighting. Please remember, these are two aspects to it. So other person or fake accusation can also be laid in if the judgment is going. But I think the courts are mature enough to deal the case on the basis of the merits of the case and not imply them pro bono to all the cases. So I hope this is clear. But please understand, now the right of the woman to have dignity and integrity is more superior to the right of the reputation of the person. So that will give all the women a certain kind of confidence that they can come forward at any time. And if they are even late in reporting due to some family pressures, due to some other kind of pressures, that will be curtailed off and they will be set aside. So consideration to the woman or the protection of the woman is the priority of the courts. This is what the courts have laid down. And make equity and equality at workplace is the only thing they are currently focusing upon. Another judgment or another decision that the High Court have given is often the people who have the versatile or the found to be biggest person in the power in the public life can be very meaner to the women who are working around them. So that is one observation that High Court have also noted, and I think everybody should work for this particular scenario. If there is she box complaints are not over there, then there are other things that can be deployed. The internal complaint committee try to do something about making the workplace safer for the women. That is, I think the Modi government is also going for Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao. The other extension to Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, Beti Kamao could be these kind of things, these kind of slogans that could run a movement where the responsibility can be casted on every other person for the protection of the women who are working in a public space, who are working here and there. So the colleagues can also have a look, the colleagues can also find if there is something wrong, they should ask. Okay, so I hope you understand these kind of innovative things should happen. Beti bachao, beti padhao, or beti kamao. So this can make the workplace better. It is just a suggestion and not saying it should be applied or it should be implemented. The next news is related to the articles that we have to do, and the first article is the ambiguous levy and the next one is the hitting the right notes with the health budget. Now please remember, Rajiv Kumar is the CEO of Niti Aayog, so we have written an article that is completely favoring the government. We will talk about it a bit later, but before that let us talk about the ambiguous levy. Now what does we understand by ambiguous levy? Ambiguous is a certain kind of levy that is charged on certain people or taxes that is imposed on certain people where certain section of people are in disadvantage for the payment of the taxes. The current case we are talking about is the taxation that the Nirmala Sitharaman have announced in the Provident Fund interest that the people are getting. Now first of all you need to understand what is Provident Fund taxation and how Nirmala Sitharaman intends to basically impose tax on the earning that the people will be getting. Now Nirmala Sitharaman have said that all those people who are depositing above 2.5 lakh rupees into the PF, that is Provident Fund account, and beyond that, so on that money, the extra that they are depositing, they will be getting the interest rate whatever will be decided by the government. Usually the interest rate is 9%. So in that 9%, if the government says, or the government have actually made a provision for that, that the person who will be depositing, please understand there are three aspects to it. When we talk about the deposit in the Provident Fund, earlier the Provident Fund was exempt, exempt and exempt. What does we mean by three words? The exemption at the starting at the depositing level, the exemption at the interest level, and exemption at the withdrawal level. Okay, these are the three kind of exemptions that were provided to the employees earlier. Last year or last to last year, I think, Modi government removed the last exemption that you can deposit freely without any taxation. Your interest will not be charged. The withdrawal, you do not have to pay any kind of tax if you are withdrawing money from the Provident Fund. Last to last year, the 60% of the money, if you have 100 rupees in your Provident Fund account, 60% of the money will be taxable. Whatever be the 60% of the money that you will be withdrawing, if you are withdrawing 100 rupees, then on 60 rupees you will have to pay the tax. This was the removal in the last to last year. This year, the Modi government have decided that they will also charge the people on the interest that they are earning on the PF account. Now, in this particular part, there are two things in the PF account. There is the original deposited money and there is the current year deposited money. So PF is an account that runs for different years, for several years. For example, if you have government employees at home, I think you would have heard of Government Provident Fund. The Government Provident Fund is a depositing of monthly installments in that particular account on which the government gives you interest rate. Now, what the government has been saying, if there is an incremental deposit of 2.50 lakh or more, so अगर कोई एम्प्लॉइज हैं जो कि एक साल में 2.5 लाख से ज़्यादा प्रोविडेंट फंड में जमा करवा रहे हैं, तो 2.5 लाख से ऊपर का जो पैसा रहेगा उसके ऊपर दे विल हैव टू पे द टैक्स ऑन द इंटरेस्ट दे विल अर्न ऑन द मनी. तो मान लीजिए 2.5 लाख रुपया आपने इससे ज़्यादा जमा कराया, आप कंसीडर कर लेते हैं आपने 5 लाख रुपया जमा करवाया, क्योंकि एग्जाम्पल से ये समझना आसान है वरना ये बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग रहेगा. तो 2.5 लाख तक आपके ऊपर कोई टैक्स नहीं लगेगा. जो अगला 2.5 लाख रुपया है उस 2.5 लाख रुपए पे 8% इंटरेस्ट रेट के हिसाब से या 10% ले लीजिए, द इंटरेस्ट यू विल बी अर्निंग ऑन 2.5 लाख विल बी 25,000. नाउ जो 25,000 इंटरेस्ट रेट आपने अर्न करा, सरकार ने कहा कि उस इंटरेस्ट रेट पे हम आपसे टैक्स लेंगे जिस टैक्स स्लैब में आप एग्जिस्ट करेंगे. तो 25,000 पे अगर हम 2.5 लाख से 5 लाख तक टैक्स की बात करें तो वो है 5%. तो 25,000 पे 5% टैक्स जो है वो आप पे करेंगे, मतलब 1,250 रुपीज. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. दिस इज हाउ इट वर्क्स एंड दिस इज हाउ द प्रोविजन ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट हैव लेड आउट. Now the problem in this particular section is the government have not ascertained what are the beneficiaries who are getting charged, who will be included under this particular tax slab. There are certain people, of course, the intention of the government is basically to tax the rich people or tax all those people who have basically gained undue profits by depositing huge sum of money into the PF account, because the PF account is exempt, exempt and exempt. And then also the PF account from the last year has been operating by the money of exempt and exempt. One problem that is also included in this particular PF interest income is the government have decided that this particular taxation will be applied in a retrospective manner. That is, it will not only apply to this year, but it will also apply to the last year. So government will be taking you or will be asking you to pay the tax of not only this year, this financial year, but the government will also be asking you that you will have to pay the tax of the last year. Okay? So last year they did not announce in the budget, but now they have announced कि नहीं नहीं अब तो आपको पिछले साल का टैक्स भी देना पड़ेगा अगर आपने 2.5 लाख से ऊपर डिपॉजिट कराया है तो. ठीक है. So that is the problem here. It has been criticized by the economist that you can't do such things in economy, because in that particular way the trust on the government is loosening, and there will be various inherited difficulties that will be included in that. You are increasing your tax basis, that is a true thing, but unnecessary burden on the people in the time when they needed to be spending more is not going to move the economy forward, and this is going to hurt badly for the government in the prospects of gaining a growth momentum with respect to the economy. ठीक है, इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. And if the economy is loosening, what should be the priority of the government? The priority should have been spend more. So people should have been given tax exemption, but the government is providing taxes on every part, although they have not increased the slab of the taxation, but indirectly they have increased the collection of the tax from the people. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. The next news is related to hitting the right notes with the health budget. Now, Mr. Rajiv Kumar, I do not know what is this, what was he thinking before writing this article, or if it at all this article has been written by this person. Very ordinarily written article, only highlighting the possibilities what the government should do. He talked about what the government here mainly highlighted. You can simply read this article in the purview of that it is the BJP's agenda or the BJP manifesto, whatever the BJP is doing, he have just highlighted it. He have talked about the production linked incentive, the health sector improvement, the budget in the health sector, the Garib Kalyan Yojana, the One Nation, One Health Card Yojana. Then there is a national health policy that talked about the information collection, data processing, water, sanitation, housing, providing Jal Jeevan mission in the urban areas, taking care of the poor, providing needy with all the facility that they desire for having a healthy life. The first priority of the Modi government is providing the basic services that are due from the government part. They have provided the, you can say, type of a arrangement in which different expenditures will be incurred in the health sector. That will basically provide the private sector participation in the health sector. The capital expenditure infusion will also be provided. They are talking about the integrated health and the institutes of the different kind that will be included together for the processing and better availability of the facilities, vaccines and other tertiary and secondary care. The coordination with the all department for providing better health outcomes. For example, if the water and sanitation facilities could be taken care of, they will certainly reduce the major effect of malaria and diarrhea. So the health burden on the system will also reduce. So close cooperation among these agencies is also required. So this is what he have suggested in that. Okay, एक बार इसको पढ़ लीजिएगा. Very, I'm not satisfied with the stature of such person such as Rajiv Kumar, who is the vice chairman of the Niti Aayog, and he is writing such light-hearted articles. I expected more from him. Basically, the solution of the non-performing assets, or the solutions of the health sector, or the solutions of different kind of, you can say, the problem with respect to the basic facilities in the economy. But he have just highlighted what the BJP have said, or maybe some people from the BJP have written this particular article. I do not know who this Urvashi Prasad is, but I am pretty sure she have written most of this particular article. Even if you want to leave it, you can leave this article. The next one is the growing right crisis in Lanka. Now, first of all, what is the problem in the country of Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka is a country that was involved in civil war till 1991. Why there was civil war? Because there was a racial issue in which the Tamil people were there, and Tamil people have formed a group called as LTTE, that is Liberation Tiger of Tamil Elam. They were living on the northern and the northern west side of Sri Lanka, and basically when they fought in the war was also continuing and there have been bloodshed because Rajapaksa was basically calling for the nationalism of the Sri Lankan people, and therefore they were fighting on either side. They were fighting for equal rights, a better constitution, and then the surrender king. Right now, same things are happening. Now, United Nations Human Rights Council have said that strict action against the gross abuse of the human rights, if it is done at all by Sri Lanka, needed to be taken care of. So the Sri Lankan authorities or the Sri Lankan other people have been asked that you should respect the human rights of the people who belong to the Tamil origin. It is a philosophy that the people from the Tamil area that are situated on the Tamil Nadu have went back all the way to Sri Lanka, and they are situated on the north and the northern western island. This is where the Jaffna island is also located. Now, these people have accused and they have always looked up to the Tamilian people. And please remember, the people who are living in Sri Lanka are relative to the people who are living in Tamil Nadu. So they have relations on either side of the Park Strait or the Parkway. So in Tamil Nadu, the treatment of the Tamil people in Sri Lanka is also an election issue. Now, India, if it want to uphold the neighboring countries to the highest of the standards of the human rights in the world, it have always supported the right of people, the freedom of press, the freedom of democracy, democratic elected governments, and also hoping for the norms based and the rule based order according to the international law. So India have always mooted the idea that as we want a democratically elected government to rule the people in the case of Myanmar, so we also want that in the case of Sri Lanka. But that is the democratically elected government over there. So India have gone one step further, that the role of the Indian government not only is restricted to a certain point where we are only looking for the democratically elected government, but we should also focus on reaching out the dignity or providing dignity and integrity to the people who belong to all the communities, should exist as a nation, although they are a sovereign nation, but upholding of the rights of all the individual within a particular country. This is what India have mooted for, and India have always believed in pluralistic value. Therefore, any skirmishes or any discontent between the two communities should be solved with the mutual agreements and mutual discussions by sitting side by side on the table. So I hope this is clear. Now, further moving on, the next news is no record of Chile adjacent to Charminar. This is said by Archaeological Survey of India. Why this was a big controversy? If you remember the Hyderabad Municipal Council last year, the BJP, I think leader or something, maybe Amit Shah or maybe I think Yogi Adityanath. So there was a Charminar photo in Hyderabad. Sorry, there is a not photo, but Charminar in Hyderabad. On the sidelines of sharing a boundary with that, there is a temple situated over there. So BJP plus एक बात का ध्यान रखिएगा, there are certain subsets in India. For example, OBC, if it is going to vote, then Bahujan Samaj Party or Samajwadi Party. These are the two parties who will earn their votes. Muslim are closely associated with AIMIM or the Congress Party. The BJP role is, जब भी BJP जीतेगी, they very well know that the Muslim vote is not going to go for them. So they try to consolidate the vote of the Hindu people. कि हिंदू जो हैं वो एक साथ जुड़े रहें तो we will rule by them. So if there is polarization in the economy, in the country, the only party that will benefit is the BJP, because BJP is a party who is going to feed or whose blood can only run if there is the Hindu nationalism working in the country. Otherwise, they will not win any election. Okay, because the development promises that they have promised, although they have said that our main focus in the development, but they have not focused on the development. They have directly focused on the divide between Hindus and Muslims. You see the actions of Modi government. All things are announced on the same matter. Firstly, they talked about The CA was the same issue, Hindu and Muslim. At that particular time, there were elections that were due in Delhi. Okay? They could have done it by some other way, but this is the path they choose in the parliament. तो कुछ चीज़ें ऐसी होती रहती हैं. Now there is a RTI that has been filed in the Archaeological Survey of India. The Archaeological Survey of India was asked that if there was a temple that was present at the time of the independence adjacent of the Char Minar in Hyderabad. Archaeological Survey of India said that at that particular time there was no record of any chila, a small shrine, or a monument that was presented aside by it. Now, the other questions that were asked, that the construction of the temple of the southeastern Minar of Char Minar, as considered by Archaeological Survey of India, has been an unauthorized construction. Please remember. So, Archaeological Survey of India have also gone forward and they have been told that if the political people have not interfered, the interference by the political people have basically warranted the destruction of the heritage monuments of Charminar, and the dealing of the religious structures has basically deteriorated, or the communal angle or the communal mileage has been given because the political party needs communal mileage. That's why this particular temple was built over there, although it is an unauthorized construction. This is the statement of Archaeological Survey of India. Please remember, Archaeological Survey of India is not a smaller body. It is basically maintaining all the monuments who are 100 years or older within the country. So it is the most reliable thing if you want to talk about any of the structure that was built in the earlier India. So when we talk about 100 years or older, you can already see that before we are talking about before 1900s, basically before 1920. So it was not existing over there. Now the issue with this particular report is that they have highlighted multiple times, in the case of 3000 monuments, a type of encroachment has been happening at different part. Now this encroachment needed to be prevented, but Archaeological Survey of India complaint is that the corporation by the administration is not exceeded or extended to them in the same level so that they could protect the monument. So although these the constructions are unauthorized, but they do happen around this particular area. And once the small temple is built up over there, and certain people, because India is a religious country, you build a temple, there will be 3 or 4 people who will come every day in front of that particular temple and they will start bowing down to it, in spite of the fact that whoever the god is or whoever this temple belongs to, whether it is located on the public property, whether it is located on the private property. So over the time there will be a priest over there, there will be a big building, then there will be bhandaras because the money is flowing in and people will be giving money, so then it will become a large religious place. So that is the concern that the people have, or the Archaeological Survey of India have, that this should not happen around the heritage sectors, but it is happening because the negligence is on the administration part. I hope this is clear. The next one is the India to gift 2 lakh vaccine doses to the UN peacekeepers. Now, this is a statement which was given by Mr. Jaishankar, who have attended the UNSC conference virtually. He have said that the vaccine nationalism needed to be shunned off and it needed to be discarded because it is basically hampering the prospects of the developing countries or the poor countries in the world in getting the vaccine upfront. So as they are not getting the vaccine upfront, that is basically posing them more to the adverse consequences of the COVID, and also putting them at risk with respect to the infectious diseases that may happen. And ultimately he have related this particular infections, if it start happening in the poor countries, then it will soon reflect to the bigger countries, and then again the COVID-like situation or the pandemic-like situation in the world could happen. So he have related the health with the world economy. If the world is healthy, then only the world economy could be healthy. Okay? And the title, I think, for this particular statement that he have given, if you have to give a title for this, you can simply give a title, Health for Economy. Okay? So health is necessary for economy. Health for economy is the one title that you can give. And this can also be useful in the essay writing also. Okay? Sometimes these articles come, try to think about them. The next one is the Pangong disengagement will be completed in 2 or 3 days. This is said by the satellite imagery. The Chinese army have moved out. And there is a disengagement already. We have talked about finger 4, finger 8. I hope you understand all the geography with respect to the region in the Pangong. And there are 3 other regions that we have talked about. There is Damchok, there is Gogra Spring, and Then we have Dapsang Plain. Dapsang Plain is the one of the strategic position that the Indian Army wanted to retain, and the security of the Dapsang Plain they want to have, because the Dapsang Plain is directly located below the Daulat Beg Oldi Road, and Daulat Beg Oldi Road is the road that is connecting the Indian main line on the Ladakh side of the India towards the Siachen Glacier. So if we have to protect the Siachen Glacier and we have to stop the collusion of China and Pakistan in the higher reaches of the India, this is the one road we need to safeguard. So I think the policy of the government is inherited clear in that, but the only concern that we have right now is that the government have given away the position that could be used as a leverage against the Chinese authorities to get back to them on the negotiation table, which could be beneficial for India. But now they have given that particular location on the north of the Kailash range or the south of the Pangong Lake. So we will have to see what will happen or what type of disengagement we are talking about. Or maybe it is a kind of a strategy that is currently played by India, that we are giving you a helping hand, as I was talking in the history class, that if you want to contain Pakistan, you have to make peace with China. And the peace with China should be of 20 long years. The same peace the Britishers made with Marathas, and then they destroyed Mysore, and ultimately they destroyed Marathas later. So this type of strategy if India is using, I think it is very good strategy, but we will have to see how they will implement it in real value. Okay. So I hope that this is a long assurance of the peace for a longer time, because if there is a peace with, ध्यान रखिएगा, if there is peace with China, I am telling you, we will destroy Pakistan. And the Pakistan will be divided into multiple countries. One part of it will be taken by China, because of course the Pakistan will not be able to pay, and other part will be taken by India. The whole of the Punjab will be united, and the demand for separate Punjab will no longer be there. The whole of the insurgency that is currently happening in Punjab will not be there. तो जब सपने देखने हैं तो बड़े सपने देखिए. If you want to be aspire for this particular job, see yourself the person who will be negotiating the peace treaty with Pakistan and the peace treaty between India, and then you will be deciding that which part of districts you will be forming in the Punjab that is located in Pakistan. तो किस तरह से पंजाब को वापस जोड़ेंगे उसके बारे में सोचना शुरू करिए कि किस स्ट्रैटेजी के तहत हम पंजाब पे कब्जा कर लेंगे या किस स्ट्रैटेजी के तहत लाहौर पे कब्जा कर लेंगे. चलिए, इनके बारे में तो बाद में बात करेंगे. और कभी नेगेटिव भी हो जाए तो ऐसी ऐसी बातें सोच के समटाइम्स इट गिव बूस्ट टू यू जब आप ऐसी चीजें सोचते हैं. The next one is government denies link to the Char Dham projects and floods. There was a case that was filed in the Supreme Court after the Chamoli incident, that because of the government various infrastructure project that it have tried to implement in the Himalayas, there is dangerous concerns with respect to the ecology and the environment in the Himalayas, which is posing risk to the natural, human and infrastructural activities. Now there is a Ravi Chopra committee who have suggested that any of the projects that are sanctioned in the Uttarakhand region needed to be disdained, and they need not to be picked up again, because they may pose serious threat to ecology and all the people who are living in the Himalayas, and also to the people or the water scarcity in the lower region of the Ganga basin. But the government have said that as far as the initial reports that have been given by the committees who have gone there for the investigation said, the Char Dham project is sustainable, and it is basically made for the people to visit these particular places which are of the religious importance to the Hindu people, and they have no link to the creation of melting of ice in the upper region. However, we all know this is a very false statement, because if you remember the state of HP, we have talked about that whenever there was a permission that was given to certain number of vehicles, that was only 2,000 vehicles that could visit the Rohtang Pass in a day, because the pollution that was coming from the diesel vehicle have basically led to the faster melting of the Rohtang ice that was situated over there. So the government have restricted itself because of the production of the black carbon over there. Now that is needed to be maintained in a manner. So if so many people of the Char Dham project, if you build a highway to the all the religious places, I think the ice over there will be, or the ecology of the Uttarakhand region will be permanently damaged, and we do not want that. Please understand. The nature will always claim its space, and the humans will always have to adjust. This is the harsh reality of the nature. You try to encroach upon the nature will always claim its space, and the humans will have to suffer, or the humans will have to adjust. And so far you can see this also around. Most of the times we take nature as a separate body which is creating trouble for ourselves. So if you want to make a home, you cut trees. If you want to do something else, you do all kind of bad activities to the nature, and when the nature hits you back, go to the compensation. You do not think about the damages that you have done over the years to the nature, and when something happens, then you try to contemplate that what else artificial things we can do for the restoration of the nature. Please do not the things at the first time. If you try to repair things, they are not going to be same at the first level. Prevention is always better than cure. Okay? The old saying goes by that, and this is also hold true for the nature. अच्छा, एक टाइटल सोच के बताइए, बिकॉज if we talk about sustainable environment, this is the title that will be given by all the people. Okay, if there is an essay that is with respect to the environment and you give it a title, a sustainable environment, this is a title that will always be used by all the people in the essay writing. If you have to think different or catch the eye of the examiner, you should have to find some innovative words. For example, you can say mutual existence of human and nature. When we talk about mutual existence, you are giving the nature a prominent role. You can also say, if you use something of more intellect that you have gained over the years, the two sides of the same coin. Okay? Human and nature. Or you can simply say interdependence. इंटरडिपेंडेंस तो वैसे नेचर की ह्यूमंस के ऊपर नहीं है, इट विल जस्ट गो फाइन विदाउट अस. द बाइनरी रिलेशंस ऑफ ह्यूमंस विद नेचर. So these kind of titles you should think of these some titles which can explain the multiple things in a smaller term that is going to benefit you in essay writing. Do not just write what you have learned. Try to bring an extra edge to your writing. Okay, इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. The next article is related to US will pay over 200 million to World Health Organization. Now, recently they have decided that they will be part again of the World Health Organization after acquisition has been laid by Mr. Trump. That WHO is a body that is controlled by the Chinese authorities and it is working on the whims and fancies of the Chinese authorities. So he have threatened them in exiting and started the formal process of the exiting from the World Health Organization by cutting down its funding. Now, Mr. Joe Biden have come up. He have said that he believes in globalization and internationalism and cooperation with respect to the bodies that is at the forefront of fighting the epidemics and the pandemics. So the first thing is financial blockade that has been imposed by Mr. Trump has been now uplifted. So the money will be going to WHO. This is for the starter, and they have also submitted an application with UNESCO, application with UNHRC, and application with Paris climate change, that they will be again abiding by the same rules and the laws that Mr. Trump have basically exited them from. So I hope this is clear. The next news is Sri Lanka cancel Pakistan PM address to the parliament. Political news, no need to go into that. However, some people suggest that there was a role of India, that the Sri Lankan parliament should not be allowed, or the Pakistan PM should not be allowed the address to the parliament of Sri Lanka. The next one is the cabinet approved PLI plan for telecom. What is a PLI plan? Now, PLI plan is a production linked incentive plan. The major objective of production linked incentive plan is to basically boost the domestic manufacturing, increase the exports, increase the employment at the local level in domestic territory, and also add value to the economy. The problem with PLI scheme is, as it is not mentioned here, but a new sector has been included, that is the telecom sector, in which we will be focusing upon the equipments for the transmission, the 4G, 5G next generation radio access networks, wireless equipments, and the premises equipments. So the problem with the Internet of Things, the problem with PLI scheme is not that it is not useful for the Indian economy. The problem is we are simply taking products from China and we are simply assembling them, and we are giving the incentives for the increase in production of the final products. Now, it could have been better if we have calculated the indigenous content that is involved in the production of the products. So there are two things to it. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल मान लीजिए आपने इंडिया में मोबाइल बनाना है एंड यू गो टू चाइना, वहां से आप सारा सामान खरीद के लाए हिस्सों में, और यहाँ पे आपने उसको जोड़ के कहा कि हाँ हमने मोबाइल बनाया, लाओ हमारा इंसेंटिव लाओ. ठीक है. अदर थिंग वुड ऑल्सो हैपन कि जो आप चाइना से लाएंगे छोटे छोटे प्रोडक्ट्स, जैसे स्क्रीन लगेगी या जो भी चीजें लगेंगी, वो आप इंडिया में बनाना शुरू करते हैं. The PLI scheme focuses on the output, that is the final product. So if mobiles are being manufactured in India, from the last year they have been increased, they will be provided the incentive. My only concern with this particular scheme is the incentive should have been provided on the indigenous content of the product. The indigenous content they have decided in the case of defense sector, but they have not provided it in the PLI sector. Maybe the government is looking for that we are still not capable in the skill set that is required for the manufacturing of all the products. And even if we try to make these products in India, the cost of the final product will increase. ठीक है, क्योंकि इंडिया के जो हमारे प्रोसेसर बनाने वाले लोग हैं, दे वर्क ऑन स्टिल इन द नेसेंट स्टेज एज कम्पेयर टू चाइना. तो चाइना जो है वो ज़्यादा बेटर प्रोसेसर हमारे से बनाती है, तो उसकी वजह से we are not able to make them in the large scale and in the affordable scale. ठीक है, इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. Next one is the startup must create world class product. This is said by Prime Minister, and he want to push the culture of the startups in India, and he have said that they should take an idea for not just about 5 to 10 years, because most of the startups are short looking, because the market is changing so very rapidly and so fastly that we hardly know when the particular company will be out of the business. Just 5 years back there was a possibility that there will be certain companies who were the major players in the digital sector, who were the major players in the retail sector, have now gone and give place to some other countries, some other companies. Now, he aspired them to look for 100 years, and I think he have said too much this time. No company can survive for 100 years. It is not even possible in the economy. But from expecting this from startups, it is a rare possibility. The maximum life of the startups or the technology with which pace it is changing, I think right now you can only look for 7 to 8 years. That too, if you gain the market share up to a level that you could survive for maximum up to 50-20 years. The companies that you are seeing today, the Tatas and all other Ambani, Mukesh Ambani and all other, these are the core companies which the country need. But I'm telling you, there will be different companies who will be coming one after another, who will be replacing the complete dynamics of the some technological aspects. If, for example, the SMS was the key feature of communication in the early 2008-2009, but hardly you see any form of SMSs that are being sent from one place to another. Multimedia message was another feature that was implemented in the phone. So there was a particular company who was currently focusing on the multimedia messages, but now you have video calls. So even hardly the other things that are currently happening, they will also go obsolete over time. Okay? And the companies who will not change their business practices according to the time, they will not be useful. And you can see the evidences in the automobile sector. Now we have connected cars. Earlier we only had cars, and they were not even the what we call them, the bags who basically protect you. चलिए, जो कार में वाइट तरह के बैग होते हैं, फॉरगेटिंग द नेम, तो वो जो आपको बचाते हैं देयर इज एनी एक्सीडेंट दैट इज बीइंग अकर्ड. नाउ वी हैव कम अप टू द कनेक्टेड कार्स, एंड सूनर और लेटर वी विल बी कमिंग अप टू द सेल्फ ड्राइविंग कार्स इन इंडिया as the 5G revolution will kick in, which is probably going to kick in from the next year. Tesla is the company who have already made inroads in India, and I'm telling you, by 2025 and 2026 we will have self-driving cars in some of the cities in India. And if the self-driving car came in India, see about the prospect, how the economy changes. Just think about it. If the self-driving car are coming in India, Ola and Uber does not have an obligation to contribute anything to the security of the people of Ola and Uber. If there are self-driving cars in India, the self-driving cars will take you everywhere, and they will be controlled from the room. The persons who will be sitting in the room, they will be operating 20 cars at a time. The need of the driver at the handle is not required. Ola and Uber will directly switch from renting the cars to owning the cars. Please remember, the weight is reduced, the fuel is reduced, the people who are getting employed, their employment is reducing. So this is a type of a disruptive technology that is going to come. Now this Ola and Uber, please understand, you are already seeing the auto sector, because I am always telling you auto sector is one of the most happening sector. The cars were not getting sold off. So what did the cars do? Cars now provide you option. You can take a car on the rent for 6 to 7 years. This is an option that is currently available in the Indian market. If you do not want to own a car, you can take a rented new car. ठीक है, दिस इज नॉट द ओल्ड कार, एंड द रेंट कार विल बी प्रोवाइडेड यू फ्रॉम द बिगर कंपनीज Maruti, and you have to pay a fixed amount within a particular year. You can operate the car, the insurance is not used, the ID is not used, any expenses with respect to the services are not used. You are simply enjoying the car as soon as it is with you. Okay, so this is how the technologies and the facilities are changing. The next news is related to the India's rating to hinge on the lower fiscal deficit debt, and this is said by Standard & Poor. So already we are going to have a large fiscal deficit, and we have going to be a huge debt, and if we are able to reduce the fiscal deficit and the debt, then our ratings in the world economy with respect to the paying back of the debt is going to be managed. But I don't think that we will be able to, and we are already on the worst rating or the high risk countries where the investment is very high risk. So we will have to see what will come in future, but I think our rating is going to drop because the government is not going to earn the revenue that they have decided for themselves. I can tell you today, you can see it after 1 year, the target that the government have fixated for themselves, they are not going to raise that money from the market. If they did not do something substantial in the economy, हाँ अगर वो इससे ज़्यादा कंपनियां बेच देते हैं तो वो बात अलग है. But the present plan that the government have formulated, by that particular plan, they are not going to the money, they are not going to earn the money they have fixated their target on. ठीक है, तो इस बात को ध्यान रखिएगा. So I think that is it for today.